Sorry, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a second. I'm just trying to get everything going, get everything plugged in. There's some big news today. Well, not huge, but it's pretty interesting. If we can get everything working here. All right. Looks like we got everything going. Hold on just a second. Gives time for people to get in here too. Let me see here. See if my connection's good, because for some reason it doesn't like to connect when I'm out here in my office for some reason. So it's kind of hit and miss. But welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a few things. It's kind of funny. The first thing we're going to talk about, and the majority of what we're going to talk about today, is we're going to talk about the new updated 2025 Ram Heavy Duty. Ram came out with this statement at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Actually, it was a little bit earlier than that. But it was pretty funny. You're going to have to pardon me because I got kind of a sore throat, dry throat. But anyways, they came out with this thing, and I thought it was pretty funny because for years, for the past probably 6-7 years, I've been a spy photographer on top of being an automotive journalist. So when Ram was coming out with this latest generation of heavy duty Ram, I was all over the place. I actually had their schedules kind of down pat. I knew where they were going to be, when they were going to be. It was kind of predictable, and I was shooting pictures of these trucks every day. So it's kind of funny. The newer trucks have been kind of coming around and getting pictures by a couple of spy photographers other than me. I've shot a couple of them running around, but it's kind of funny. Ram released this press release today, and I want to just go over it real quick. It says, as we approach the reveal of our 2025 Ram Heavy Duty, the engineering teams are conducting final testing on one of the most important performance attributes of our heavy haulers, cooling. As the trucks will be running around loose in the wild with the camouflage removed, we wanted to share some quality exterior images with you rather than badly lit snapshots out the window at 70 miles an hour. So I think that's kind of a dig to me, Glenn Polina, and Brian Williams, because we're the ones who usually take 99% of the spy photos out there of these heavy duty trucks, and usually we're carrying heavy duty camera gear and stuff, and those guys do an excellent job. They're out more than I am, but it was funny because for years I chased these trucks down. I mean, I have night photos. I used to go all over the place and kind of spy shoot them wherever they were. It was kind of funny. So to see that today, it was kind of hilarious to see that they're digging at us, because they've been really secretive recently, because a lot of their testing is done away from Auburn Hills. They got rid of, you can see some of these trucks have Roush on them. Roush used to do the testing for Chrysler. Basically, it's cheaper to hire a Roush guy to just put miles on a truck, like pay him $14 an hour to drive up and down the highways, than it is to have engineers do it. And they just basically data log these trucks and put miles on them. So they were out running a loop out on Metro Detroit highways. So through the day, and then the second shift would come and run through the night. So it was kind of funny seeing these trucks out testing, because they used to stop right by my house, so I used to get them all the time. But now they've changed. Roush doesn't do their testing anymore. A company called Link does, and we don't see them as much because they're in a different kind of area. But you can see here them pulling off the camo, because they'd stop for dinner at restaurants and stuff, and they have to camo them up. So here they are at like an Arby's, And you can see that these were the 2019 trucks. So this was taken, what, in 2018? Like, I think it was middle of the summer 2018. But that right there is a Ram 5500. No, that's a 3500 chassis cab. It got to the point where they ran the same trucks all the time, and you could kind of tell what Chrysler always puts their platform codes up on the thing, and I got so used to doing it, I could find out not only what trucks they were, but I knew what number trucks, because they have like a 4-digit number after to recognize what trucks they are. So like right here, this was a tradesman, basically a crew cab long box model. We can go through some of these videos. It's kind of funny. Here's a regular cab tradesman. That one was probably the most I've seen of that model. And that thing was still testing for quite a bit. But what all these trucks do is they go out and test them, and then they crush them. So basically they're just mules. So when you see they post something about, hey, we tested 2 million miles on the road testing, these are the trucks that were out testing all the time. So there's that chassis cab there. I mean, it was just kind of funny. Like, here they are getting gas at a local gas station by me, and you can tell there's always a support vehicle with them in case they break down or something. And a lot of times that truck likes to interfere with the spy photographers, because they'll get in our way while we're trying to go and take video. But some of the guys are cool. I've seen some people. That guy was checking me out there. This guy is really cool. Here's that same exact tradesman, and you notice it's got a different pickup following in a Ram 1500. But this guy actually waves to me. This guy I've seen all the time. He's an older guy. He used to wear a hat. See, he's waving at me. Some guys are really cool. Some guys are kind of a-holes. I've had people flip me off. I've had people try to run me off the road. It just depends on what you get. So when you're getting paid $14 an hour to drive something that's camoed up, it gains a lot of attention. And that's the whole point of me talking about this stuff, because it's kind of hilarious in a way, because they will always say, like, we don't want pictures of our stuff, but yet it's good for them because it gets publicity. And as you can see right here, there was a Sierra right in front of them, and those are two other Roush trucks that were testing when the new 2019 Sierra was coming out. And there is right there, that's a limited Longhorn model. And you can see that these guys run during the day. So I catch them in the morning, at lunchtime. They run the same routes all the time. They still run the same routes to this day. So that's why when we get spy photos and stuff, we can usually catch them pretty good. But I thought that dig was kind of funny in a way. It was just kind of comical because, I don't know, Chrysler has been kind of like boasty lately. They went back after Sean Fain and stuff, so I think it's just kind of a funny knock to what we do. So when they say badly lit photos, I mean, it depends on when we were shooting them. So I shot them at all different times of the day. Sometimes I got really good photos, sometimes I got bad ones. If you go to HD Rams, like Brian Williams shot all these were right when they got on camouflage. These ones I shot on the highway. This is a Laramie pickup here, so you can see like they have a code on the top. It says DJ, so that's a Ram. A DJ is a Ram 2500, and then each one's given like a serial number, so it's like 0543. So I would see this truck quite a bit. But as you can see, there's different kinds of how can I say it, levels of like pre-production. So as they get closer to launch, you'll see most of the camouflage come off, and that's when they start using this camouflage tape. Like you can see on the grill, this grill is actually painted. They use like squares. They spray painted it and just put squares on it and then clear coat over it. But this is all camo wrapped. So a lot of times you can see the black. They didn't touch the roof here, but a lot of times you can see with these kind of models, we get a lot more detail because you can see them. They still mess with the camera a little bit, but our cameras have gotten so good over the years. Like this camera I have here, this lens is like a $3,500 lens, and the body here is a $5,000 body. But this is a Canon 5D SR, and so this is 50 megapixels. And with this is a 28-300. I can stand quite a far away and get really good detail, and then I can blow the picture up and still get really good detail. So Yeah, it's kind of comical that way. We get a lot of different photos from different places. I mean, it just depends on where you're at, being there. You can sit there for hours. I've sat in places for hours waiting for something and having nothing to come. But as you can see here, they take the more and more camo off as they go because they don't need it. But sometimes it's kind of obvious because they'll leave badging and stuff on and you know what it is. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But today, the big news is this Ram 2500 and 3500 like preview. So I want to go through it real quick. Jared, my co-editor and co-partner on all this stuff, wrote an article out for Mopar Insiders and HD Rams about the new truck. Ram gave us 3 images today, just basic images. They don't want to give out too much, but there's been a lot of leaks, a lot of things that we found on like places like LinkedIn, our sources, dealers have told us some stuff. So we've been able to get a good idea of what's coming in the pipeline. It's nothing radical. This is the same exact cab and platform that we've seen since 2010. So this is technically, even though everybody keeps saying it's a 5th gen Ram, it is not a 5th gen Ram. It is what we like to call is a 4.5 gen Ram. This truck is basically a 4th generation that's been heavily updated in 2019. For 2025, there's not much changes. You get a new front end and you get new taillights, and that's about it. So I want to go through what changes there are, the 3 different models that they showed today. Talk about the styling a little bit. It's kind of controversial because it's polarizing, which is kind of good in a way because it kind of separates the trucks from looking like a Chevy and stuff like that. But I want to go through all that stuff. But we got an actual look at 3 different trucks today. So let me pull up, hold on here. Let me pull up some images because I wanted to go through. So again, here's some spy photos I took a long time ago. Here's a chassis cab. This is a 3500, or no, yeah, this is a 3500, like 10,000 K chassis. See the DD up there on the roof? That tells you what it is. This one is probably an SLT with the LED package because it's got projectors and whatnot. Then we had a Power Wagon. You can tell it's a Power Wagon obviously because of the wheels and the tires. And then the real cool thing was at night, what I like going out and shooting at night is through the camouflage, they might have stuff over the headlights, but you can usually see what the headlights look like in detail. Like, so here we got a really good look at, this is that truck I showed you earlier down the highway. You can see the caliper, like they used like like an old caliper to design the LEDs in it. And here they are on the highway coming towards me with a chaser vehicle. But for 2023, here's another spy image I took. This was a completely uncamouflaged come on. I don't want it to move. All right. So this was a 2023 truck here. This was one of the early ones that was running around. This originally had camouflage on it, but this one, for some reason, that day it didn't. This is not a Rebel. This is a Power Wagon. You can tell by the wheels. They're basically they're the Power Wagon wheels and whatnot, but it doesn't have any markings on it other than the badging. But this has the performance hood. So this hood and these mirrors were brand new for 2023. A lot of people were, shocked to see that this kind of hood was put on there, but all this stuff pretty much remains the same for 2025. The reason why I say that is we move to the new trucks. We can see that in this spy photo of a regular cab, this one is a Bighorn that, they have the same mirrors. These ones are the manual pull-out ones. These aren't the automatic ones, I don't think, but they have turn signals in it. Usually if they're a tradesman, they won't have these. I hate how it does that. This one doesn't have the Sport Performance hood, so we knew that was staying, but all the hoods stay the same. They're all lined up the same. It's just the grill that's totally different. Even the top part of the grill, what they call the ram horns, because it looks like a ram's horns coming out the side, stay the same. And it looks like the front bumpers are still the same for all the trucks too. This was another spy shot that Glenn Polina took. You can see the camouflage falling off of this, so you see that they're going to be the taillights on the 4th gen Ram technically aren't the same units that are on the 5th gen Ram because the housing for the bed and stuff is totally different. So they're made to look like them. They won't like cross interchange or anything. But so we kind of knew a couple months ago that this truck here was going to have the same kind of styling. These still have the Ram badge on the back, but we've seen most of the trucks will have Ram across the tailgates, just like the 1500. So that being said, we also know that. Whoops! See, I hate this. I hate Apple products. All right. So this being said, this is a picture of the interior that Glenn got. So this is a Bighorn, but if you notice, it's got this panel that sticks out of the dash because they're doing software updates and stuff. But that's an 8.4-inch screen. So like the Ram 1500, all heavy duties should come with an 8.4-inch Uconnect 5 system now. So we don't know if there's going to be an all-new electrical architecture in this truck. We doubt it. I don't see these trucks getting self-driving or anything. And these trucks will stay around till 2028. But the big news is the fact that Ram will continue with Cummins power and Hemi power. The 6.4 Hemi BGE, or big gas engine, stays. So that should be good news for everybody who loves the Hemi. According to what we've seen on different people's not Wikipedia, but LinkedIn pages and stuff, and what we've seen on from our sources, these trucks with the Hemi will receive a minor upgrade. It shouldn't boost any power or anything, but it helps with emissions. Power should be about the same, so don't expect anything radical. They still will have the 8-speed ZF transmission that basically you have the rotary dial shifter, so that will be standard for that truck. The Cummins models will be a lot different because according to our sources, and it looks to be true, that they're only going to go to one Cummins engine for 2025. And a lot of people are going to be happy because that engine will be the new Cummins, well, not the new, but it's going to be a Cummins high output version of the motor. So all the SO base models will be gone. It'll just be one singular Cummins across the lineup. The other thing there's no manual transmission like there hasn't been for a long time since 2018, but all the new Cummins models will get an 8-speed ZF Powerline automatic transmission. Now these are the heavy duty transmissions built for commercial vehicles. Everybody's complained in the 2500 for years about the Chrysler built 6-speed, and they've had problems. People usually buy the trucks and rebuild them completely for the transmission, at least, because they blow up. So this should be a really good news for everybody because this is a heavy duty application. It's been proven. They actually tested this application in older Ram heavy duty pickups when they were developing it. So it's been all along. It developed all along with the Ram. And the interesting thing is like if you go back onto YouTube, you can watch ZF actually test it in like a 2017 or 2018 Ram. So it's been developed for a long time using Ram applications. So it's proven. And it's proven in box trucks and all this other stuff. And it should be super smooth. So everybody's praised it for all the other vehicles it's been in, but now Ram is finally getting it. We thought originally in 2018 when we seen the videos that ZF was posting that Ram would get this power line, but it didn't for some reason. They went with the Eisen. The Eisen's gone. It should be ZF only. So that's huge news. Should be a lot smoother, hopefully better fuel economy, and a lot easier to pull with this new transmission, especially in the 2500. So we don't know power numbers. We assume with the high output, it'll probably be over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. It just depends, but they do run high output models in different applications using lower foot-pounds of torque. So, but the horsepower should be the same as the current one, if not a little bit more. We don't know if there's huge, significant changes for the new Cummins yet, but we should be learning about that soon. But what people really want to know is, yeah, the interior stays pretty much the same, the exterior stays the same, but it gets a new front end. So this right here is the new 2025 Ram 2500 Rebel. And as you can see, most of it is a carryover. The hood, see what I mean? It keeps changing on me. The hood's a carryover, the door panels are carryover, the fender flares are carryover, and the wheels. The front bumper looks and front valance look to be a carryover, but the big change is obviously the headlights and grille. So with this grill, a lot of people already who have seen it online are already questioning this grill, because we went from a grill that looked like this, that looked all uniform and was actually quite sharp, to this one that's kind of looks like a freight train front for some reason. It goes vertical and horizontal, and basically what we see is the Ram logo has been moved up. We get smaller LED running lights. These ones are LED projector. We get quad projectors in the top of the line models. We still get the same fog lights, but these new quad projectors look pretty cool. They kind of look Chinese in a way. I don't know why, they just kind of do, but it's the same overall shape. So you get 4 LEDs. I assume that on the upgraded models, we will see they'll be actually moving projectors. So I don't know yet. It'll be very interesting to see, but the truck should be coming out here pretty quick. But again, this is like the biggest change. Another thing we've noticed is basically what they did was they kicked up the grill. If you look at, I'll show you. Let me show you here because I pulled up some images. So here is a 2024 Rebel versus this new truck here. This is a different angle of it. I try to get the angle so they're pretty close. This is a Power Wagon, but I think this is a Power Wagon. This is a Power Wagon because of the wheels and stuff. Okay, so this says 20-inch wheels, or sorry, 18-inch wheels. This has got 20. This one has the winch in the front bumper, but if you notice, the Rebel had the same grills. So here's the projector LEDs for the current model, and it had the blinkers down here. I assume these are switchbacks up here, but you can see that the top part of the brow, or the ram horns, because it's supposed to look like a ram horn, how it curls down. Oh, come on. It's the same kind of piece going up, but the grill lettering has been moved up. It also looks like the front view camera has been moved up, which should be good for off-roading because you get a better angle in front of you. But the big thing is cooling. So where this grill had a little slot in it, this grill has been moved up, more of a horseshoe. And then we see that the adaptive cruise control stuff has been moved up. So we assume that the off-road models are going to also get adaptive cruise now. But if you look, the bumpers are still the same. This one, again, has the winch, so it doesn't have this pattern, but the pattern is still the same from the outgoing truck. So it's just this front end that's been really, really changed. If you look at I hate how it does this. If you look at the Sport Performance hood, it's still the same exact hood. Nothing's changed there. Mirrors are still the same. The running lights are still the same. Fender flares are still the same. So if we look at the tradesman, so I couldn't find a 3500 tradesman, unfortunately, to give me the view I was looking for. But this is a 3500, the new one here. This is a 3500 dually. You can tell because of the hubs. But I wanted to get that blacked out front end. As you can see, the trucks will now come standard with LED projectors. It still looks to be the same kind of like corner bracing and stuff for the grill. It's just the grill, this middle part is completely different. Ram's been moved up again. We do see that if you look closely, it looks like it's built for a camera housing, but there's no camera there. So I don't know if it's pointed down. I don't know if it's going to be part of a towing package. I don't know. But it doesn't look like the one that we've seen on this heavy-duty truck, which has a circle in the middle of it. This Rebel truck here. So it looks like maybe they're just putting in a piece to fill in where the grill goes. I have no idea. Here you can see the slat the very small slat down here, they bumped it up for more cooling. So we assume that the Cummins is going to have more power. But the tow hooks and everything remain the same. This one's got LED fog lights. I don't know if the truck's going to come standard with LED fogs or not. We still don't know. But the current trucks, if you bought the base model, they did not come with fog lights. Now you could upgrade to halogen fogs, or you can upgrade to LED headlights, but you would have to get the halogen fogs. I don't think you could get the LED fog lamps in a tradesman, so that's a new detail. Hoods are the same, badging still on the side of the hood, and again, this being a dually, it's got the running lights. This one doesn't, because this is just a bare bones tradesman. If you look underneath, the diffusers are still the same. You got the 2 slots here, 2 slots there. So I don't think there'll be too much of a change in the design. Let's look at this is a Laramie Sport that they showed off. Again, I tried to get it as close as I could to the same angles. These are both in flame red. So if you look at the trucks, the grill down here, the smaller grill is still the same. Tow hooks are the same. LEDs are still the same. Front valance is still the same. Where it changes the most is the grill design. This was very sleek looking. This almost makes it look Chinese. It looks aggressive, but it's going to be like a love it or hate it kind of look. Again, it has those LED projectors that are kind of blacked out, which at first it kind of looked like this could have been a night edition, but obviously it's not, because it's got the chrome accents and the chrome wheels. But I don't know if they're going to go to 2 different headlight housings or not, because if you buy a night edition package now on a Ram heavy duty, you get blacked out housings, where you can see on the Laramie Sport and the normal ones that have chrome have these like non-blacked out headlamps. So that'd be very interesting. Another thing we noticed is this does not have the chrome mirror caps. So we don't know if they're getting rid of more chrome, because Stellantis said that they're going to do away with chrome eventually, because chrome is not a popular option. I think it looks good on a truck like this, because you're looking for that big rig look. Same hood design, same pretty much everything except for that grill. You notice both of them have cameras in it. This one's moved up. The snorkel snout pieces are down lower on the current model. They're up higher on this one. But the grill size looks to be about the same. It's just this kick up here where the adaptive cruise control panel looks like where it's at. So I think maybe all the trucks are getting adaptive cruise. It'd be very interesting. I think they are, because I'm pretty sure most of the Ram 1500 DT trucks now have adaptive cruise, if not standard. And again, same power running boards. Nothing has changed on these models. The wheels look to be the same. They're the same Firestone tires, the Delta Force ATs that we've seen before. So these, there's not much of a difference in these trucks. If we look at, here you go. This is a shot of all 3. So if you're curious, your bighorn, just picture a bighorn will probably be chromed out here or body colored, depending on what model you get, with those same headlights. Obviously, if this is a Laramie, then this is getting that same LED projector light that the Rebel's getting. Now, we don't know if there's going to be we don't know if these are fixed or if these are functional turning. So when you steer the wheel, these turn. We don't know yet. It'll be very interesting to find out. But again, just picture this truck with chrome, and you got basically a bighorn. So if you like just the reflector headlights with the blinkers, bighorn's probably where it's going to be. So they will come out with chassis cabs that will have the same exact front ends, except for obviously the Rebel front end, because the Rebel front end will mirror the Power Wagon. So, but if we look, they gave us one more image of the back, and as you can see here, the only change for basically is the connectors have changed a little bit over the last few years for the trailer hookups. But what we see is it's got the same exact backup light, the LED backup light that's optional with the rear view cameras in them. But the new the new taillights are very similar to the Ram 1500 models. They're a little different, but you can see that this one has like the blind spot monitoring stuff built inside of it, so it kind of looks sleeker. But yes, the trucks look very much alike. Interesting thing here is this Rebel actually has the power folding running boards too, so very interesting. And one thing I hope to God they do is put LED lighting in the trucks. They still haven't done the interior, but all the exterior lighting is LED, except for if you get the standard models, obviously, because these will still be halogen. So yeah, very interesting information. Kind of gives us a preview of what to expect with the the new Ram Heavy Duties. I'll be out there looking for them. I'm sure a lot of people will. But stay tuned to HD Rams, because we're going to be going through a lot of this stuff with these new trucks, because it's very interesting. We have a lot of people who are very interested in where Stellantis is going, because with the announcement of the Hemis being discontinued, this will be the only vehicle that has a Hemi engine still. And it's not the same 6.4 as what most people think as what the Scat Packs had. The BGE engine is a totally different engine. So, but yeah, it will be the last Hemi-powered vehicle that Stellantis makes. Another thing I wanted to go through with you guys, too, is if you go to Mopar Insiders, there were some very interesting articles that were posted today. We see that obviously the heavy duty is a big thing. Last night, yesterday, Stellantis had their CFO at the Bank of America, basically a meeting. It was like a call, and it was an investor call kind of deal. And they were talking, and apparently one of the things that was said was Stellantis is beginning to look for a new CEO. Basically a successor to Tavares. Now, Tavares' contract runs through January 2026. However, it's very interesting because usually if this stuff's going to happen, you don't look for a successor, okay? Usually they retire and then they announce something. You don't publicly announce that you're looking for a successor unless they're really looking at getting rid of him. And everybody's hoping that they do, because he's just run the North American market and the Italian market into the ground. So we might be seeing a change. I would be very shocked if this lasts till January 2026. With this news yesterday, the market went up. The market for Stellantis, the stock market, their shares went up by 3% just by them announcing that they're looking for a successor for him. So it's very interesting. But John Elkann has publicly come out and said that during when people asked him that right here, there's no immediate plans for a leadership change. So if they're looking for somebody, it'll be very interesting. Tavares could come back. He could say, hey, I want a new contract. I mean, as long as he's making profit, which he keeps cutting things left and right, what's not to say he won't come back? But the problem is, I think they're starting to realize if you cut so much out of everything, what happens when there's nothing left to cut? So they've already lost a whole bunch of, not only just consumers in the North American market, but if you look at the Italian market right now they're having a huge issue with EV sales in Europe. Europe is having a huge decrease in EV sales despite having huge regulations pushed. A majority of the automakers over there belong to a group that's trying to pass, that includes like Mercedes, Renault. They're trying to pass, have the European Union pass regulations to push back these ones that they want by 2025. They're looking at pushing them back by even 10 years. And Carlos Tavares has come out and said, hey, we don't want to do that because he's based so much on electric vehicles. But the problem is electric vehicles have been on a decline in the past 3 years in sales in Europe. So that's the reason why vehicles like this are coming about. This is the new Alfa Romeo Junior. This is the mild hybrid one. Now they're building an all-electric one, and that's what they keep pushing. But my friend Walter Weyer over in Italy basically posted these photos, and there's a bunch of them tested right now. So they're going to put the same exact. Now this vehicle is the same as the Jeep Avenger, which is a super successful vehicle over in Europe right now. The Jeep Avenger comes in a gas-powered model. It comes in a mild hybrid. It comes in a full electric model, and it's going to come in another mild hybrid with all-wheel drive. So it's going to be a 4xe model. But this Alfa Romeo Junior has been, it's built in Poland. Basically, the Italian government has gone after this thing. It was supposed to be called the Milano, and they went after Stellantis, saying that there's a law saying that you can't like sell something with an Italian name if it's not built in Italy. So they changed the name to Junior. And the funny thing was, the original code name for it, or internal name, was the Alpha Kid. So, but nonetheless, it might be coming to the U.S. And Stellantis has been actively asking its dealers in places like California and Florida if they would be interested in an electric version. So there they go again, pushing electric stuff when America doesn't even want electric stuff. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. But we might see a version of this here in the U.S. Probably not this one, not the mild hybrid one. And the easiest way to tell it's a mild hybrid is because it has Alfa Romeo script in the grille instead of the logo. So because it's being the one that's electric doesn't need an actual grille up here. It's just a piece of plastic with the snake logo on it. But this one actually has mesh for more cooling. So, and you can see the exhaust pipes out the back. So very cool that they're working on hybrids, but that's what people want here. They have publicly said that they want to offer more hybrids than anybody for the European market. But I don't understand why they're not doing that here. We heard that the upcoming Cherokee is going to be hybrid. We heard the possibility that the Recon could be a hybrid electric vehicle. Will actually be built on the same line as the Cherokee. But they keep teasing back and forth that they are working on electric or hybrid vehicles and electric, but they keep pushing electric for some reason. Both of the Rebels have ugly grills. I wouldn't say they're huge ugly, but I like the current grill. I like the current truck's grill. The new one I think will take a long time to get used to. I don't like how it goes one way and the other. Another interesting thing was their CFO came out and she also said that they're looking at cutting 100,000 vehicles from inventory by 2025. They have so much inventory right now, it's going to be hard for them to do that unless there's huge cuts. They have more than 430,000 vehicles right now sitting on lots. So they hope to get rid of 100,000 units by the end of the year. So you're going to be seeing some really good sales. The problem is if people can still afford them, because interest rates are coming down a little bit, but still not enough where the average person can go and afford one of these fully loaded $80,000 pickups. I mean, it's crazy. So, and now they're launching the Wagoneer S, which starts at $71,000. You have the new Dodge Charger Daytona, which I heard was pushed back until December now, because they're still having issues with the production of them. But those first edition models have a standard price. Like if you buy an RT, you're looking at $59,000 for the before destination. After destination, you're looking at an additional $2,000. And then you have these pre-configured packages, so you're looking at $56,000 for the base Dodge, the 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona model. $65,000 for that car. I mean, that's nuts. So people can't afford that. That's the problem. And Stellantis doesn't have anything except for one trim Jeep Compass that's under $30,000 right now. So if you want to read more about what they're looking at doing to cut inventory, go on Mopar Insiders. There's been a whole bunch of stuff. There's this really cool Plymouth Superbird that's up for auction. Another thing that we've noticed too is I was saying, well, there's two things I wanted to talk about before I get off here. Stellantis responded to Sean Fain's threat the other day Last week he went on Facebook Live. He made a threat about possibly striking and having grievances from the union. And then if you watched my live stream the other day, Brian Keller, who's a UAW member, and Dave Pillsbury, who's another UAW member, I was watching their live stream, and they were talking about Sean Fain and how his plan is to use not the fact that they're moving production away from North America and cutting jobs, but the fact that there's safety issues, which are easy grievances that Stellantis can fix. So he's trying to push this strike on something that is like ridiculous. But the new COO, he is kind of ruthless in a way. I've been listening to podcasts from Shap and stuff, and they were talking about him, and he basically said that Fain's a liar, which is pretty interesting. He sent an email to him. You can go on and read some of the comments about the email on Mopar Insiders, but it doesn't look like they have any plans on opening the Belvedere plant. The whole purpose of the Belvedere thing and why it was such a big deal was it was like their actual agreement wasn't that great. Yeah, they got more money, but there's less jobs in it. They didn't keep the temporary workers like they said they were going to transfer those people to full time. Well, they got rid of most of their temporary workers, and then some people they got rid of, and then they try to call them back, but they have to start at a lower rate, and because they don't get to keep their seniority. And then another issue was Belvedere was supposed to be like this turning point. They were supposed to close down a bunch of like 4 Mopar distribution plants to build this huge Mopar distribution hub out there. That's not happening. They were going to build a battery plant out there. That's not happening. And the biggest problem is Belvedere. Belvedere is a small dinky town out in the middle of kind of like, I think it's like 70 miles from Chicago. I've been by it. I've been to it. It's not that big of a town, and Chrysler was by far their biggest employer. They have a couple other industries out there, but Chrysler was by far their biggest employer out there. So it just kind of devastated the town in a way with all these promises. Hey, we're going to build an electric. They were basically going to build a mid-size electric pickup, and they canceled that. So because of how the markets, they're blaming how the market's going against EVs. Well, they keep pumping out EVs everywhere else. So it's kind of weird how they're doing this whole moving forward, this Dare Forward 2030 plan still. Everybody else has moved away from it. GM has moved to more hybrids. They've paired up with Honda. They're going to build hybrid vehicles with Honda. Ford has announced, hey, we're kicking back on the EV stuff, and they just canceled. They spent almost, I think it was like $2 billion, or maybe even more than that, on a brand new 3-row SUV that was all electric, and it was supposed to be like the best all electric SUV ever built. They canceled that before it came to market. Before they even introduced it, they announced it about a month ago that they canceled it, and they're going to work on more hybrid models. And there was a big thing on Ford's website, on their media site the other day, saying that they're celebrating 20 years of providing hybrid models. I mean, back in 08, my mom had a Mercury Mariner hybrid. And so, yeah, they've been building hybrids for quite a bit. What people don't understand is, I don't understand why Stellantis isn't like using this as a marketing ploy. They have the number 1 selling plug-in. They have the number 2 selling plug-in. They have the number 4 and 5 selling plug-ins. So the Jeep Wrangler 4xe is the best-selling plug-in in the U.S. and Canada. Grand Cherokee 4xe is the second best in basically U.S. and Canada. You're gonna laugh. The Hornet RT is actually the best-selling, or I'm sorry, not best. It's the 4th best-selling plug-in at the moment. And then you have the Chrysler Pacifica hybrid, which has been a long time bestseller for Chrysler before the 4xe stuff in plug-in technology. So they have all these vehicles with plug-ins, but they're still going electric. So people don't want the electric cars, and it's pushing back against them. So it'll be very interesting. Another interesting note from this email was basically the COO said that they haven't made any plans to move the Dodge Durango. And how this stuff started was Auto Forecast Solutions said, and they're about 99% right, they said that there was talks about moving the next generation Durango to Windsor to be built alongside the Charger and the Pacifica and the new Chrysler crossover that's coming called the CX, or it's not the actual name, but it's the code name for the platform. It's called C6X. Um, that vehicle will actually start production, hopefully, from what I hear of my friends in Windsor, by the end of 2025. So the Pacifica's got a long way to go, just being the only Chrysler vehicle around. But uh, he basically said that there has been no official word that they're going to move the Durango yet. But it looks like they're going to move the Durango, and they're going to bring. There's some documents that slipped up, and they're looking at bringing an Alfa Romeo E segment, so basically the same size as the Durango, an EV to Jefferson, where the Durango's built. So, but they didn't say anything about an Alfa Romeo or anything like that. So that's going to be interesting to watch. A lot of UAW members are against this strike. It won't do anything good for the UAW. Stellantis has, I just said, they have 430,000 vehicles sitting on lots. They want to cut 100,000 of them. If they go on strike, this is great because now they can get rid of all this leftover inventory. It does nothing except for use the UAW's funds to help support their little strike that will actually benefit Stellantis in a way. So Sean Fain's whole thinking about this whole ordeal is actually almost benefiting the automaker. It's not benefiting his union. One other thing that was a big news story for the week was Morelville, Indiana. Now, if you remember a few months ago, the Indiana State Police bought a whole fleet of Durango Pursuit models, and they're with the Hemi 5.7s in them. And they had a huge amount of failures with them. They were noticing that the oil coolers weren't cooling the engines down, and they were having overheating problems like constantly for highway pursuits and stuff. And I think it was like something crazy, like 33% of them were failing, something nuts like that. So what they're doing now is Stellantis never issued a statement about it. Well, another police agency in Indiana, which during COVID could not get Ford Explorer interceptors, they basically bought a whole fleet of Durango Pursuits. And they seemed to like them at the beginning, but the problem is they're having oil cooler failures too. And the police chief came out and actually did a video slamming Chrysler about it, and it caused Stellantis to actually send a response, which was kind of cocky back to him. Let's see if we can play this real quick, if it'll play. Oh, go figure. I'm not a bot. Anyways, he just went out and slammed them, saying that they're they're having all these problems and that it's affecting the tax payers. Basically it's causing their department to spend more money to fix these issues because Stellantis isn't fixing them. So they're looking at they've actually changed most of their vehicles already over to Explorers, but they're basically coming out and saying stuff about Stellantis. Now the interesting part about Stellantis is they actually issued a statement. And what they said was the Durango Pursuit meets and exceeds all acceptable federal motor vehicle safety standards and is subject to severe operations conditions to which the standard retail version of the Durango is immune. Further, certain oil cooler issues are difficult to detect, which may lead to collateral damage and highly complex remedy. So basically they're admitting that there's an issue, but they're not doing anything about it because they can't focus on what's causing it. But yet, these vehicles are supposed to run wide open for like 40 minutes nonstop. I don't understand this comment. Like, they should be looking into this big time because cop cars are a big thing for Dodge. The Charger Pursuit was the best-selling police vehicle for a long time, like actual car. The Explorer's been the best-selling SUV. And now more agencies are buying the Durangos because now Dodge has actually developed a pretty good package, minus these oil cooler failures. But another thing that they're not realizing is the fact that they're getting ready to launch a Dodge Charger Daytona pursuit. So if you piss off these agencies and knowing that these things are failing, and then you want them to buy into this electric stuff, it's not going to work out good. So they need to jump on this like ASAP. I would, if I was Matt McAleer, I would be like, hey, we need to focus in on this and get this like focused on and solved immediately, because yeah, this is a huge market for Dodge. Matter of fact, the very last Dodge Charger to come off the Brampton line was a Pursuit. So it's very interesting how Dodge is going about this, and Stellantis is going about this. Oh no, we don't know how to detect these issues, so we know there's a problem, but we're not going to fix it. And then they want to tease a new Charger Daytona Pursuit vehicle. So it's very interesting. I don't understand it, but I mean, whatever. So they're just doing some really weird stuff. I'm not understanding why Stellantis is doing certain things. But if you get a chance, go on over to Mopar Insiders. There's a lot of new stuff that's been on there. I'll talk about this real quick. The U.S. is looking to ban Chinese tech and connected vehicles, which is really good. This means software, including autonomous driving stuff. If this is passed, which it should be, basically we won't see any Chinese built. I mean, there's a couple vehicles like by GM and Ford. So you have, like, for example, the Buick Envision that is built completely in China and sent here. Those vehicles will have to be completely re-engineered or dropped from the lineup. But this will be huge because this will keep China, like Chinese vehicles, out of the North American market, or at least out of the U.S. market, because Canada is doing the same. So it'll be very interesting. One other thing here that's really cool is I posted this the other day. Mecum, the Indy Fall auction's coming up here pretty quick. This 2018 Dodge Charger SRT8 is going to auction. Now, what makes this car really unique is it's a pilot line car. It was built at Brampton. It was built before the production started of the first edition. So it actually has the same specs and everything, but it's a first edition 0000 out of 6440. The really cool thing about this car was it was built as a fast feedback car. So basically what they do is they give like certain people in the company, like engineers and that, these pre-production cars. So they're built on the line so they can test, if they're doing, like, if there's rattles, there's fitment problems, all this stuff. Well, usually when these cars are done, they're crushed. Well, it just so happened that one of the engineers who had this, hold on here. He was the engineering VP responsible of the 2008 Challenger program. He talked Chrysler into selling him one. So it was actually registered and everything. It's got a full title. And he bought it from Chrysler. And what's really cool about it is, like, again, it's the only one that wasn't crushed. It's number 0. So this is truly the only very first Challenger still left. It's basically stock. It's only got 9,400 miles on it, 9,800 miles on it, something like that. What's it? 9,400 miles on the car. You can see this bronze star in there. That means that it was on the window. That means it's a fast feedback vehicle. So, like, you might see, like, right now there's Charger Daytonas running around. They all have this Pentastar in the windshield, which means it's a fast feedback vehicle. Most of those will be crushed after they're done. But the really cool thing is Jeff Gale, who was the designer of the car, has an actual picture with it. He signed underneath the hood of it. So there's a lot of history with this car. Oh, come on. Load. I hate slow internet. And then, like, even on the key fob, if you'll load the key fob picture, it, like, look at original Challenger key fob, note keyless entry, changed for production. So it says keyless entry on it. So there's a lot of details about this car that are very unique. It comes with an actual shipping order to the U.S. and it says it's a pilot vehicle. It's got, like, a little history thing with it. It comes with all the documentation of the car. So it's a really cool model for somebody who's looking for something very unique. Hopefully it sells really well at Mecum, because again, the Challenger, with it being completely done, this is the very first Challenger that wasn't a concept car that's still around as far as we know. So very cool. So yeah, that actual auction's coming up really quick. So first week in October, I believe. So all right. Well, if you get any chances to go to Mopar Insiders and check out the stuff, or HD Rams, do it. We're going to post more coming up this week about the new heavy duty. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining me at the live stream here.